Want to spoil your chickens? We're counting down the internet's top 5 treats your flock will love. Before we get into our top 5 treats, I think, Steve, you have an announcement?
I do. So, one of the things that we've been working on kind of in the background for a number of years is putting together some sort of book, right? We've had a comment about it recently. Hey, have you guys ever thought about kind of capturing some of that and putting it in a book?
Yes, we have.
Now that we're not spending quite as much time writing and editing some of these videos, actually started this week compiling a book on chicken nutrition. It's going to be a little bit different than what's out there. So a lot of the books I see, they're either science-based for commercial breeders with formulas and sciencey stuff, or they're super glossy, over the top, basic without any real depth. We're going to do kind of like what our videos did, where we kind of delve in, provide a little information, but centered toward the backyard chicken keeper. So that's going to take a while. We've kind of got an outline, some things put together. It might be a year, I'm guessing, based on what I want to do for this book. But the process has started, so look for that. Once we've got that one done, we've got another one already kind of on the back burner as well.
In the works, yeah.
For a couple other topics as well. But look for that in the future. So,
Well, if he says a year, I bet it'll be a lot quicker because I've never known you to not make a goal or a deadline. So
yeah, trying to give myself plenty of space.
Well, you've written books before.
I have. They are not chicken oriented, but you're welcome to read them. If you want to know what they are, comment.
How easy was it to write a book?
It is very difficult, very time consuming. So
Yeah.
if you can make it in a year, actually that would be excellent. So mine took more than a year. I'll say that. Plenty of time. But all right, let's get into why we're here.
Okay.
And that is treats for your chicken. The internet came up with their top 5 treats.
Okay.
So let's start with this. The first one they had was mealworms.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, mealworms are a very common treat that people like to give to chickens. I think the main thing with mealworms is chickens love them and will absolutely devour them, and they're packed with protein. So if you want to give your chickens a little protein boost, maybe it's during molting season, maybe it's just during the growth of a chicken. So when they're in that grower stage, mealworms can be a great option for that.
They sure can. With mealworms, you do have to be aware, right? So you can feed them live. A lot of times they'll be dried or freeze-dried.
Yeah.
Pay attention to where you're sourcing those from. Some of those mealworms come from overseas where they're raised on styrofoam. And so if those types of things are of concern to you of what I'm feeding my chickens, be aware that some of that stuff is not very well regulated. So sometimes the cheapest option that you're buying may not be the best option.
Highly recommend growing your own if this is something you want to do.
Yeah, if that's your thing, they're really easy to raise. If you
Plus,
can get
they're
over
expensive if you're buying them in the
ick
store in a
factor of
little
having
bag.
bugs in your house.
Yeah.
But like I say, I have a bag usually around someplace for a few little treats. Usually it's if somebody's hurt or something and I kind of need to kind of give her some treats to calm her down. I don't regularly feed mealworms. I've got some other things I use, but they're a fantastic and probably number one option.
And one of the things you want to be careful with mealworms is people tend to overfeed mealworms as treats. They'll take a handful of it and throw it out there. Really, you only need about 1.5 tablespoons per bird, and that's plenty.
All right.
They're a treat.
They are. So. And, one other thing that you could do along the same lines as mealworms is like the black soldier fly larva. They're raised similarly, so if you want to grow your own, and they're also available as a bagged, freeze-dried type of treat.
Yep.
And chickens love those.
They sure do.
As well.
Fantastic option.
Yep.
Just real quick before we go any further on the list, we're talking treats, right? Treats are no more than 10%. So
Absolutely,
just to kind of to piggyback off what you kind of alluded to there, treats are not something they get tons of. They're an occasional little snack.
Yep.
Okay, what do you got for number 2?
Well, before we go, I just happened to watch a video the other day of a chicken, and it was in some sort of plastic container, and with a bunch of mealworms, and that thing was going crazy. And it had a lot. So,
and they will.
It's like
the
money machine at the fair trying to grab as much as you can.
So is your chicken going to eat till it's sick, or
It could. Yeah, I mean, they're going to keep eating and keep eating.
It's
If
like
you're
sitting-
feeding them mealworms, they're going to keep eating mealworms.
Steven and Brian walk into a room full of cupcakes.
Right. We're going to keep eating cupcakes.
As long as there's a cupcake around, it's not going to be safe.
All right. The internet says number 2 favorite treat is watermelon.
I can agree with that. Watermelon rinds, you finish. Personally, I don't like watermelon.
I know you don't.
There's a reason why they call it watermelon, because it's watery and it's gross and grainy, and I don't like watermelon. But my family loves it. I'm the only one in my family that doesn't like it. So we have watermelon. They finish eating, they throw it out, and those chickens will go eat not only what's left of the red, but the white, almost down to just like the skin. I mean, they love it. And it's a cool, refreshing snack. It's high in water, keeps them hydrated, so it's a fun little summer snack. Again, a treat, not part of their diet, but a treat. But it's cool and refreshing, and they sure love it.
Now, unlike Steve, I love watermelon. In fact, we are probably cutting one open once or twice a week during the summertime. And although you can just cut up some chunks of watermelon to feed to your chickens, I do like Steve mentioned, which is I'll leave a little bit of extra melon on the rinds, and I just throw chunks of the melon rind out there in their coop or in their run area, and just let them devour them, and they love them. Again, be careful not to overfeed them this. If you do, it can be messy.
Yeah.
All
I'll
right.
just leave it at that.
So, do you put salt on your watermelon? Not for your chickens, but
Do I? No.
no salt?
I never put salt on my watermelon. My mother was one of those who oversalted everything, and she loved to put salt on watermelon, and I always thought it was just weird and not very good. But I get it. There's a lot of people that love it.
I like the
It's
salt.
just not for me.
so.
Yeah.
What say you, internet?
Your chickens don't need the extra salt. So
Yeah,
if you're doing
salt
that,
the watermelon you're giving your
don't
chickens.
give it to your chickens.
All right. Here's one. Number 3, cooked oatmeal.
Okay. I can see why that might be a good go-to, like in the wintertime. Give them a little treat like in the mornings, some warm oatmeal. Gives them some extra carbs. It's warm, so they're going to like that on a cold morning. Personally, kind of like Steve with watermelon, I don't eat oatmeal. So there's no oatmeal being eaten in my house. And I'm just not going to buy it specifically for chickens.
Yeah,
So I've never fed this particular treat to my chickens.
Neither have I. Neither have I ever heard of it, other than.
The internet can't be wrong.
I mean, I have heard of people using.
I probably
oatmeal.
wouldn't for a number of reasons. One, it's a mess, right? It can gum up their beaks and that kind of stuff. And also, if they don't get it all cleaned up, then it makes a mess out in the coop and attracts rodents and stuff. If that's your thing, great. For me, I'd probably be more likely to. Again, I don't like oatmeal. Some sort of gruel or whatever it is. But if you throw some berries or something in there, well, maybe. So I just skip the oatmeal and just toss in the berries. They love the berries. So just a handful of blueberries or strawberries or raspberries.
And for those
or
who
something.
don't know, Steve has an abundance of berries because he grows many berry bushes of all different varieties. It is kind of your specialty in the gardening area,
I like
wouldn't
it.
you say?
So I picked about 40 pounds of raspberries yesterday
All right.
and put up some raspberry pie filling and that kind of stuff.
I know we're going
But-
off topic.
Extra stuff for the winter. Okay.
And
what
once
do you got?
again, I don't see any raspberries here. So.
Yeah.
Come pick them.
All right. Moving on, we have kale.
Another thing that I personally am not putting in my garden because I don't like kale.
Right.
Right? I'm not a kale salad type of guy. You might not have guessed that by looking at my figure that it's like, give me the kale salad. No, that's not me. I have planted kale before. I don't really care for it all that much, so I don't plant it. But
It's a great treat.
I have no problem
really.
with kale being a treat, or along with other greens like spinach or chard, which those types of things I do plant and I do share it with those chickens, and they love them.
Yeah, any kind of greens like this, the kale, the chard, like you said, they're packed with vitamins, and they're going to be great for your chickens. It's probably on the better end of the types of treats that you could provide to your chickens. Yep. Like Steve, I'm not a big fan of kale, although I do eat it once in a while. as long as it's mixed with other stuff to cover up the flavor. But any kind of greens, I would say, is a great choice. Just chop some up, throw it out there for the chickens, and they're going to love it, and it's great for them.
Yep. Keep in mind, again, we'll just mention it, moderation.
Moderation
Even
with
though it's like,
everything.
hey, it's a vegetable, it's great. Things like spinach, they have oxalic acid and some things that once they start eating a lot of that, it can lead to problems with calcium absorption and those types of things. So again, we're talking treats, not, a huge chunk of their diet.
Right.
And don't let Brian fool you. He drinks kale smoothies every morning. So, all right, the number 5 treat, according to the internet, is pumpkin.
Yep. Another good one. That's what, now that I don't have pigs, we used to throw them to the pigs, but now I don't have pigs, I just bust them up and let the birds go at them, and they love them. They'll eat them up.
Yeah, my chickens, we've given them pumpkins from the garden before, and like you say, or after Halloween is a great way to do this. When pumpkins are readily available and cheap, and you got those jack-o'-lanterns that are just sitting there, just throw them to your chickens. They love the seeds. They love the flesh of the pumpkins. And again, like so many of these other treats, there is a tendency to overfeed it, right? I throw them a whole pumpkin. They love pumpkin. They're just going to eat that for the next couple of days.
Have you seen the internet where they like scratch the pumpkin and then they let the chickens carve it for them?
It's pretty cool.
Kind of weird. The other thing we want to talk about with pumpkin is a lot of times you'll see, oh, it's a natural dewormer. There's plenty of anecdotal evidence, plenty of people who swear by it. Scientifically, it's never been proven.
That doesn't mean it doesn't work.
Doesn't hurt them.
Right.
It ain't gonna hurt them. And again, it's probably a really good thing to help prevent those things. If you have a huge outbreak, pumpkin's probably not going to clear it up.
Yeah, generally
On its
speaking,
own.
with farm animals, feeding pumpkin or pumpkin seeds isn't going to get rid of a worm problem, but it can be. I know with
Boost
your
and
pigs,
keep them stronger so
you
that
would
you
feed
don't
them
have
the
the
pumpkins
problem.
and reduce the likelihood of them getting worms
Yep.
in the first place. And you can also, in addition to fresh pumpkins, you can can pumpkin and feed it to them year round as well, as long as you don't put a bunch of sugar
Yeah, I was gonna
in
say,
it.
don't. But the stuff you're buying in the
Yeah.
store, that's got a bunch of sugar and other stuff in it. That's not for your chickens.
Right.
All right. There you have it. I think you guys agreed with, well,
Pretty
4
much.
to 5 wasn't
Pretty
too bad,
much.
right?
Yeah.
Internet can't be perfect.
And I'm not saying the others are bad,
Right.
like oatmeal.
If you love oatmeal,
It's
and
just
do
not
that-
something I'm going to eat. It's not something I've ever fed to my chickens. It might be great, again, in moderation. I just don't have experience doing that. So
All right. So there you go. If you want to spoil your flock up to 10% with those 5 treats, go for it. Chicken's going to
don't
love it.
overdo it.
Moderation.
And there are other options too, right? Here's 5, but I have a lot of other treats that I feed my chickens that we didn't talk about.
Well, you
And
mentioned
and
berries.
I'm sure you guys do too. So why don't you drop those in the comments? What are your chickens' favorite treats that they get from you?
And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Until next time.
Happy hobby farming.